Ron's lizards had overpowered their owner.
They took his life.
We weren't prepared for what we found.
Pets are often seen as cherished members of the family, showered with love and care, and in return, we expect their loyalty and affection. While this is usually the case, there are times when things take a dark and unexpected turn. In this video, we'll uncover 18 unbelievable pets that ate their owners, right in front of everyone. Number 18. The world's deadliest snake.
Alita Stacy from Putnam Lake, New York, had a deep fascination with snakes.
An unbelievable incident shook the quiet suburban neighborhood of Putnam Lake, New York, when 56-year-old Alita Stacy, a snake enthusiast, was found dead in her home. Another tragic addition to the growing list of exotic pet owners meeting fatal ends at the hands of their beloved creatures.
One day, Stacy's boyfriend discovered her unconscious at home.
On that fateful Tuesday in June 2011, Stacy's boyfriend, Vito Caputo, returned home from work to find her lifeless body. The house, located 65 miles from New York City, harbored a collection of 75 snakes, including the notorious African black mamba, nature's perfect killing machine. The African black mamba stands unrivaled in its lethal reputation. According to National Geographic, this silent assassin boasts a nearly 100% kill rate when antivenom isn't administered immediately. Death claims its victims in a mere 20 minutes.
And the pain was immediate.
Police investigation pieced together that the locks to the black mamba's enclosure were left ajar, suggesting Stacy had been handling the snake before her death. Authorities noted snake bite wounds on her forearm, consistent with the lethal strike of a black mamba. The exotic collection, including the black mamba, was later seized by the Bronx Zoo under the supervision of New York State's Department of Environmental Conservation. But as horrifying as Alita Stacy's fate was, the next story takes the danger of exotic pets to an unthinkable level, leaving a family devastated by an unimaginable loss. Number 17. Albino Burmese python. In another tragic event in July 2009 in the quiet town of Oxford, Florida, a pet albino Burmese python named Gypsy killed its owner's 2-year-old daughter, Cheyenne Hare, in a scene no one could have imagined. The albino Burmese python is a strikingly large, non-venomous snake with a pale yellow and white coloration, caused by a genetic mutation that reduces melanin production. Native to Southeast Asia, it can grow up to 23 feet in length and weigh over 200 pounds, making it one of the largest snake species in the world. Despite their popularity as exotic pets, they require expert care due to their immense size, strength, and specific habitat needs.
Albino Burmese python was kept in a makeshift enclosure covered with a quilt and secured with safety pins.
The tragedy began when the snake, kept in a poorly secured glass tank covered only by a quilt, escaped during the night. Severely underfed and weighing just 13 pounds, far below its healthy weight of 150 to 200 pounds, Gypsy was likely driven by hunger. It slithered into Cheyenne's crib while the household slept. What happened next was both terrifying and heartbreaking. When Charles Darnell, the boyfriend of Cheyenne's mother, Jaren Hare, walked into the room, he was confronted with an unimaginable sight. Gypsy had wrapped itself around the toddler, crushing and attempting to consume her. In his panic, Darnell tried to pull the snake off, but it was too late. The young girl succumbed to her injuries, leaving her family in shock. Both owners were convicted of third-degree murder, and they faced manslaughter charges. Child neglect charges were also brought against them, and each owner received a 12-year prison sentence. Number 16. The tragic tale of Ron Huff and his Nile monitors. The tragic loss of a child was devastating, but what happens when a man's exotic pets take matters into their own hands? The story of Ron Huff holds the shocking answer.
Ron Huff lived for his reptiles. He even kept his apartment at a constant 80 degrees so they could roam freely.
Ron Huff's love for exotic reptiles led him to make a fateful decision. He decided to collect 7 Nile monitor lizards. The Nile monitor lizard is a large carnivorous reptile native to Africa, capable of growing up to 7 feet long and known for its strength, agility, and powerful jaws. Its bite is sharp, delivering deep wounds that can cause significant pain and may introduce harmful bacteria due to their predatory diet, which would eventually play a tragic role in Ron's life. His apartment in Delaware became an unconventional home for these creatures, each capable of reaching lengths of up to 7 feet. In 2002, something unusual caught the attention of Ron's neighbors. They began to notice a strange smell coming from his apartment. Concerned about their neighbor's well-being, they tried reaching out to him by calling and knocking on his door. However, after several days with no response,
having passed away under distressing circumstances. The most shocking part of the scene was the presence of his monitor lizards. 7 of these dangerous reptiles were found crawling over Ronald's lifeless body, feeding on him. This grisly discovery horrified the officers and left them deeply disturbed. The investigation into Ronald's death revealed that he had likely fallen ill suddenly.
They felt compelled to take action. Authorities were called in, and what they found was horrifying. Inside Ron's apartment, they made a gruesome discovery with his body partially eaten, surrounded by the very lizards he had cared for. As investigators examined the case, they uncovered that Ron had been unable to feed his lizards for an extended period, leading them to turn on him out of desperation. Following this tragic incident involving Ron and his beloved lizards, steps were taken to ensure both human and animal welfare moving forward. The 7 Nile monitors were relocated from their previous home into a specialized facility designed specifically for reptiles. If you thought the tale of Ron Huff and his predatory lizards was horrifying, wait until you hear what happened in Hampshire, England. Number 15. Starved cats. A shocking discovery in Hampshire, England, shook the local community when Janet Veal's partially eaten body was found in her kitchen.
Who were her primary companions? Janet's reclusive nature meant she had minimal contact with neighbors.
The 56-year-old recluse lived alone with her beloved pets, which included multiple cats and a dog, in what would become a tragic tale of isolation and survival instinct. The grim scene unfolded after neighbors noticed an accumulation of unopened mail and caught whiffs of an unsettling odor coming from Janet's house.
An officer had to scale a ladder to access a window and make entry. Inside, they discovered a tragic and disturbing scene. Janet had passed away due to a medical condition, and her body had been left unattended for some time. The house was filled with the smell of decay, and the officers were met with a grim sight. While some of Janet's cats had survived, they had done so under dire circumstances.
Police officers, forced to use a ladder to gain entry, encountered a sight that would leave even seasoned professionals disturbed. Inside the house, time stood still. Garbage littered the upstairs floors, and stale air hung heavy throughout the rooms. The kitchen floor held Janet's remains, with clear evidence that her cats had fed on her body, a desperate act of survival after their owner's passing. A coroner's investigation revealed that Janet likely died of natural causes, and her body remained undiscovered for approximately 3 months. Several deceased pets were found throughout the house, and the surviving starved cats had resorted to consuming their owner's remains. Janet Veal's tragedy was one of neglect and survival, but the next story is one of trust misplaced in the wild nature of hybrids. Number 14. Misunderstood hybrid wolves. Sandra Piovesan's deep love for her wolf dog hybrids masked a deadly reality that unfolded in her Pennsylvania backyard. The 50-year-old breeder dedicated her life to these majestic creatures, housing 9 of them in a 15 by 15-foot chain-link enclosure behind her Salem Township home. These animals possess both the physical capabilities of wolves and the proximity to humans that domestic dogs enjoy, creating a volatile combination that can trigger deadly encounters. "They're my children," she often declared to concerned neighbors, dismissing their warnings about the inherent dangers of keeping wolf-dog hybrids as pets. Her unwavering belief in their gentle nature proved fatal on July 17, 2006, when her beloved pack turned against her. The attack occurred during Sandra's routine morning feeding. Neighbors reported hearing blood-curdling screams around 9 a.m., but the remote location of her property prevented immediate help. Her body, discovered hours later, bore devastating evidence of the brutal attack. multiple bite wounds, and signs that the animals had begun consuming her remains. The animals displayed aggressive behavior toward rescue personnel, and they were tranquilized and put out in the wild where they belong. While Sandra trusted her hybrids as family, our next story shows how even familiar companions can become lethal when survival instincts take over. Number 13. Hungry dogs. A chilling tale from Indonesia is a reminder that neglect can turn even our most loyal companions against us. Andre Lumboga's decision to abandon his 9 dogs without food or water while he vacationed turned fatal when he returned home. The horrific incident unfolded in Manado, a city in North Sulawesi, where Lumboga had kept his pack of mixed-breed dogs as guard animals for his property. After leaving them unfed for 2 weeks, he returned to find his starving pets had transformed into desperate predators. Neighbors reported hearing aggressive barking and screams coming from Lumboga's property. By the time help arrived, the dogs had already killed and partially consumed their owner. Police discovered Lumboga's mutilated body with severe bite wounds across his entire body. The dogs were extremely aggressive when we found them, reported local police chief Aryo Kayo. They had been pushed to their limits by hunger and thirst. Animal behavior experts pointed out that prolonged starvation can override years of domestication, reducing even well-trained dogs to their primitive state. If Andre's dogs remind us of how desperation can turn loyalty into danger, what follows is an even more harrowing tale involving animals far less expected to kill. Number 12. Pig attack. Pigs are known to be intelligent animals, but in this case, their instincts took a deadly turn. Find out what happened. The quiet farming community of Riverton, Oregon, witnessed one of the most disturbing cases of pets turning against their owner.
Evelyn!
Terry Vance Garner, a 69-year-old veteran-turned-farmer, lived peacefully on his farm, raising several 700-pound pigs, until that fateful morning in September 2012. Garner's daily routine included feeding his massive hogs at 7:30 a.m. sharp. When he didn't return home for several hours, his family grew concerned. A thorough search of the property led to a grisly discovery inside the hog enclosure: scattered pieces of his body, his dentures, and fragments of his clothing. District Attorney Paul Frazier's investigation revealed several possibilities behind the tragic incident. Garner might have suffered a medical emergency, making him vulnerable to the hungry animals, or the pigs could have knocked him over and attacked. Garner's pigs, each weighing as much as a small car, had previously displayed aggressive tendencies. One had bitten him the year before. Local farmers shared their shock at the incident, noting that while pigs are omnivorous scavengers by nature, such attacks remain extremely rare. His family chose to have the aggressive animals put down following the incident. Number 11. Breeding lions pounce. From the haunting case of pigs in Oregon, we now venture to a story where a man's obsession with lions turns into a tragic nightmare. The quiet village of Zdekov in the Czech Republic became the stage for a chilling reminder of wild animals' unpredictable nature. Mikhail Prosek's fascination with big cats led him to acquire a male lion in 2016 and a female the following year, a decision that sealed his fate. At just 33 years old, Prosek defied local authorities by constructing makeshift enclosures in his backyard. Despite mounting fines and denied permits, his determination to breed these magnificent predators remained unwavering. His stubborn refusal to allow inspectors onto his property created a legal deadlock, leaving authorities powerless to intervene. The young breeder's cavalier attitude towards safety became apparent when he made headlines for walking his lioness on a leash, an incident that resulted in a collision with a cyclist. Residents' concerns grew as they watched these powerful animals prowl behind inadequate barriers. The inevitable tragedy unfolded when Prosek's father discovered his son's body inside the lion's cage. The enclosure's door was locked from the inside, suggesting Prosek had entered voluntarily. police officers faced the grim task of shooting both lions, the only way to reach Prossek's remains. As lions demonstrate their deadly power, the next story involves an animal even more responsible for human fatalities. Number 10. Hippo Mall. Army Major Marius Els experienced a heartbreaking story of misplaced trust in South Africa's Free State province. His dream of domesticating a wild hippopotamus ended in tragedy. During a flood, Els, 40, found a baby hippo and named him Humphrey. He believed they shared an unbreakable bond. Els proudly declared Humphrey's like a son to me in his last interview, showcasing their relationship by riding on the 1.2-ton creature's back. His conviction in this unusual friendship led him to dismiss countless warnings about the untamable nature of Africa's deadliest animal. Despite several alarming incidents involving Humphrey, Els remained steadfast in his belief that he could tame the wild animal. A terrifying incident forced a man and his grandson to seek refuge in a tree for 2 hours. While Els was convinced of their special connection, his wife Louise had serious worries about the dangerous situation. She watched helplessly as her husband continued to treat the wild beast as a family pet on their 400-acre farm. The tragic culmination arrived when Humphrey's true nature emerged. The massive hippopotamus dragged Els into the same river where their story began, unleashing the raw power of his species. Known to reach speeds of 30 miles per hour and equipped with lethal canine teeth. Els's body was later discovered submerged in the river. Hippos claim more human lives annually than lions, elephants, leopards, buffalo, and rhinos combined, a statistic Els fatally overlooked in his quest to tame the untamable. While hippos claim the most human lives in the wild, the next story reveals how even man's best friend can turn deadly. Number 9. Dog encounter gone wrong. A shocking incident occurred in the quiet streets of Lichtenburg, South Africa, when former Zambian football star Philemon Mulala met a tragic end at the jaws of his beloved pets. The 60-year-old sports legend's life abruptly stopped during a routine power outage, known locally as load shedding. The fatal attack happened in the garden of Mulala's home, where his 3 dogs, 2 Staffy pit bull crosses and a third unidentified breed, turned against their owner with devastating consequences. Mrs. Mulala, busy in another part of the house, initially dismissed the dogs barking as their usual response to passing street traffic. It was until later that she discovered her husband's lifeless body. Police reports detail the brutal nature of the attack, with Captain Sam Tselenyan confirming the extensive injuries that led to Mulala's death. Emergency services arrived too late to intervene, declaring the former football star dead at the scene. The Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, SPCA, stepped in to remove the 3 dogs from the property, marking a sad end to what had seemed a normal pet-owner relationship. This incident adds to the growing list of tragic cases where domestic animals have turned on their caretakers, raising questions about the unpredictable nature of even seemingly domesticated pets. As tragic as Philemon Mulala's story was, it pales in comparison to what happens when apex predators turn their deadly instincts on their trusted caretakers. Number 8. The tiger attack. When a 500-pound Bengal tiger strikes, even an experienced wildlife expert stands no chance. This is the tragic story of Cynthia Lee Gamble. A chilling silence enveloped the rural Pine County home, where wildlife documentary maker Cynthia Lee Gamble met her tragic fate. The 52-year-old filmmaker, renowned for her groundbreaking work with wild animals, became a victim of her own 500-pound Bengal tiger in a shocking incident that sent shockwaves through the wildlife community. Gamble's expertise in handling dangerous predators spanned decades. Her impressive portfolio included raising and training wolves, wolverines, coyotes, and foxes. She even served as an animal coordinator for the blockbuster film Vertical Limit, working closely with snow leopards. Her book, Leopards: Natural History and Conservation, is proof of her deep understanding of big cats. The deadly encounter occurred when Gamble unintentionally left the tiger's cage door open. Sheriff's deputies found her lifeless body inside the enclosure. The incident left her 14-year-old son without a mother and the wildlife community questioning the dangers of keeping apex predators as pets. While Gamble's Bengal tiger attack shocked the wildlife community, The next tale shows how even animals integrated into human lives can suddenly turn deadly. Number 7. Travis the chimp. The story of Travis the chimpanzee is one of the most horrifying incidents of pet attacks in recent memory. Sandra Harold's beloved 200-pound chimp went from being a charming local celebrity to a savage attacker on that fateful February day in 2009. Travis had lived with humans for 14 years, sharing meals, enjoying wine, and even taking the wheel of a car now and then. He seemed fully integrated into human society, until everything changed. The chilling 911 call from that day still sends shivers down spines, with the terrifying screams of both victim and chimp resonating through the recording. The attack on 55-year-old Charla Nash, Harold's friend, was beyond comprehension. Travis literally devoured Nash's face, leaving her without hands, eyes, or any facial features. The brutal assault continued for several minutes as Harold desperately tried to intervene, even resorting to stabbing her beloved pet with a kitchen knife. Nash's injuries were so catastrophic that emergency responders initially believed she was dead. The attack finally came to an end when police arrived and fatally shot Travis as he attempted to enter their patrol car. While Travis's violent outburst left a community reeling, our next tale reveals how wild instincts can surface in even the most unsuspecting animals. Number 6. Deer attack. A Texas man's attempt to tame nature's wild beauty came to a heartbreaking end in one of the most shocking animal attacks. In Harrison County, Texas, a tragic incident occurred when 67-year-old Gerald Rushton's attempt to domesticate wild animals went horribly wrong. His backyard menagerie, which included several species of deer, represented his passionate yet misguided dream of taming nature's wild creatures. On that fateful day, Rushton entered the pen of his prized European red stag deer, a magnificent creature with impressive antlers. The largest stags can weigh up to 500 pounds and stand more than 4.5 feet tall at the shoulder. Deer are specialized herbivores, as is reflected in their large and anatomically complex digestive organs, their mobile lips, and the size and complexity of their teeth. What began as a routine feeding session quickly turned into a deadly encounter. The powerful stag, acting on its wild instincts, pinned Rushton against the fence with devastating force. The 911 call described the scene. "We need immediate assistance. A red stag deer has attacked someone. There's blood everywhere." When emergency responders arrived at FM 9 South in Wascom, they were met with a heartbreaking sight. The aggressive deer was blocking access to Rushton's body, forcing deputies and Texas Parks and Wildlife game wardens to make the difficult decision to put down the animal. Judge Hugh Taylor declared Rushton dead at the scene, marking a tragic end to his attempts at domesticating wildlife. His collection included various deer species, including axis deer, all kept illegally in makeshift pens behind his home. The investigation by the Harrison County Sheriff's Office revealed the brutal nature of the attack. Rushton had been both gored and trampled after falling to the ground. Just as Gerald Rushton underestimated the wild instincts of his prize stag, Ricky Weinhold would soon discover the dangers of trusting a 1-ton bull. Number 5. Pet bull with a temper. When 1 ton of raw power collides with misplaced faith, the results are catastrophic. This describes the tragic tale of Ricky Weinhold and his beloved pet bull. Ricky's passion for raising cattle led him to lease barn space in Wernersville, Pennsylvania, where he kept his prized 1-ton bull. Despite the animal's documented aggressive behavior, Ricky maintained an unwavering faith in their bond. This trust proved fatal when, just 1 day shy of his 53rd birthday, the bull launched a devastating attack. The warning signs had been glaring. During a previous incident, the same bull had rammed Ricky with such force it broke several of his ribs. Property owners repeatedly urged him to part ways with the temperamental animal, recognizing the looming danger. Their concerns fell on deaf ears as Ricky's determination to tame the beast persisted. The horrific discovery came when the farm owner's son found Ricky's body in an outdoor pen. The tragic tale of Ricky and his bull leads us to Pam Weaver's nightmare, a birthday gift that became a fatal mistake. Number 4. The camel rage. A seemingly innocent birthday gift turned deadly on a quiet Queensland farm, marking one of the most bizarre cases of exotic pets turning against their owners. Pam Weaver's dream of caring for unique animals came to a tragic end just months after receiving a 10-month-old camel as her 60th birthday present. The young camel's peculiar behavior raised red flags long before the fatal incident. It developed an unsettling habit of attempting to smother the family's pet goat, repeatedly knocking it over and laying on top of it. These warning signs went unnoticed until it was too late. On that ruinous evening, Pam was simply going about her daily routine, preparing tea and tending to her beloved animals. Her husband Noel returned home to an eerie scene, the camel wandering freely in the backyard, and his wife nowhere to be found. The discovery that followed would haunt the Dunkeld property forever. The police investigation revealed the brutal nature of the attack. The camel had knocked Pam to the ground, leaving distinct footprints on her face and arm. Detective Senior Sergeant Craig Gregory reported the animal then rolled around before lying on top of her, either smothering her or triggering a heart attack. Number 3. Southern pig-tailed macaque monkey. From Queensland to Malaysia, the dangers of human-animal interactions continue to escalate, this time with a coconut harvesting monkey. A 72-year-old man from Malaysia had a special bond with his pet monkey, who was more than just a companion. They worked as a team. Na would handle things on the ground while his monkey scurried up coconut trees to help him gather fruit. A seemingly innocent coconut harvesting tradition in Malaysia turned deadly in 2019 when a trained southern pig-tailed macaque attacked its elderly owner. The 72-year-old man and his son had attempted to coax their pet monkey into climbing trees for fruit collection, a practice deeply rooted in Malaysian culture through specialized monkey schools. These unique educational institutions spend 2 to 3 weeks teaching macaques the art of coconut harvesting. The training process starts by building the monkey's interest in coconuts through playful interactions, gradually progressing to specific movements and command words. This century-old tradition has been vital to Malaysia's local economy. The fatal incident unfolded in their coconut grove when the monkey unexpectedly turned aggressive. Concerned by his father's absence, went looking for him, only to find his father's body and an aggressive monkey. The elderly owner suffered a devastating bite to a major artery, while his son sustained neck injuries during his attempt to intervene. A neighbor's quick response to the screams helped save the son, but tragically, the father couldn't be rescued in time. Experts suggest the monkey's age played a crucial role in this tragic event. The macaque had started its training later than the recommended age, potentially contributing to its unpredictable behavior. Despite their entertaining reputation and human-like characteristics, monkeys possess powerful jaws and can inflict serious damage when provoked or stressed. While the Malaysian monkey turned deadly in Florida, a bird with dagger-like claws became the unexpected harbinger of tragedy. Number 2. The dangerous cassowary bird. The world of exotic pets experienced a terrifying event in 2019 when a 75-year-old breeder from Florida lost his life to his beloved pet, a cassowary. These are the largest native vertebrates in Australian rainforests and the second heaviest bird in the world to the ostrich. It is also the third tallest bird in the world to the ostrich and the emu. The cassowary egg is the third largest of all birds at about 584 grams. Cassowaries can grow as tall as an adult human, with powerful legs built for running and kicking. These birds possess long, sharp claws on their feet that can inflict serious injuries or even kill. Despite their size, cassowaries are surprisingly fast runners, capable of reaching speeds up to 31 miles per hour. They are also excellent jumpers and can leap heights of 7 feet. Cassowaries are known to be highly territorial animals. When they feel threatened or provoked, they may exhibit aggressive behavior to defend their territory. Marvin Hajos was an experienced breeder who had a deep fascination with cassowaries. However, during what should have been a routine interaction with one of his birds. He suffered a fall that triggered the cassowary's aggressive instincts. Hayo succumbed to his injuries at a local hospital after the bird attacked him. While the cassowary's claws brought tragedy in Florida, in India, a towering political mascot turned on its owner with deadly force, leaving an entire village in shock. Number 1. Elephant retaliates. A chilling tale from India's political landscape showcases the unpredictable nature of keeping wild animals as pets.
He is my world. I'm a ridiculous person on that. My infatuation with Chabu.
Ram Lakhan Verma, a Bahujan Samaj Party politician, learned this lesson in the most tragic way possible. Verma kept an elephant as a political mascot, parading it during campaigns to represent his party's official symbol. The seemingly clever political strategy turned deadly in 2003 when his massive pet displayed signs of agitation. In an attempt to control the situation, Verma led the elephant to the village outskirts. What happened next left witnesses horrified. The politician's initial calming attempts appeared successful, but the elephant suddenly became aggressive again. Verma struck the animal with an iron rod, and the weapon lodged in the elephant's ear. Verma lost his balance and fell. The enraged elephant crushed him instantly. The terrified elephant fled toward the village, where armed residents awaited. In a shocking display of retaliation, villagers fired over 200 shots at the animal, killing it in a hail of bullets. The dual tragedy didn't impact the party's success. The Bahujan Samaj Party secured a historic non-coalition majority in the following state assembly election, marking their strongest victory in over a decade. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.